Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's funny how quickly things get back to normal. Like it feels very quick. It's good. I'm happy. I'm seeing friends, and I had this the other night. These words came out of my mouth. A friend asked me if I wanted to come over for dinner, and I said no. I have dinner plans. It's like, I haven't said that in a long time. And Joel told me that the Dodger Stadium's gonna fill up in a couple of weeks. Things are getting back to normal, and it's great, and thank God. And also it's a little much, it's a little overwhelming. I feel a little overstimulated after, a year in a box. As is always the case, always seems to be the case, it always does feel like the weekly Torah reading, the parsha, is like right in step with us. This is the great Parshat Shlakh, is the great story of the sin of the spies. These sort of it's really scouts, because they get sent out. The word is latur, to scout out the land. They get sent on a mission. Go check out the land of Canaan that you're going to cross over into, and tell us what's up over there. And they come back. They say it is good. It's flowing with milk and honey, just like you said. But they also are a little freaked out by the size of the people over there. There's the people are too big, and the fruit is too big, and the hills are too big. Everything's a little too much. Just a little too much, and they're just not sure that they're ready for this. It's a little too much for us. We're not so sure that we're ready to go. And God is not happy with that. But I really feel in this moment, I get that feeling. I do get that feeling of whoa, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I want to be ready, but I feel a little overwhelmed. So what do we do with that feeling? How do we ready ourselves for entry out into the land? There is a kind of a tool, I think, provided to us at the end of this week's Torah reading, and it's a section of the Torah that's very familiar because it is inserted into our Shema. It's the third paragraph of our Shema prayer, which we say twice a day. We're about to say it in the evening prayer in Mariv, and the third paragraph talks about tzitzit, the fringes that we attach to the corners of a four-cornered garment, of a tallit. So a prayer shawl, you see those little dangling strings at the end. And so we're commanded to wear tzitzit, which is great. And they're there so that we look at them, it says, Uzachartem et kol mitzvot Adonai. And so we remember all of the commandments of our God. You look at them and you remember the commandments. Great, but what is it doing here? Why is it here it seems so random. Big story of the sin of the spies, and they're punished. And then just tucked in at the end, there's these laws about the thing that you look at to remember the commandments. Well, there is a connection. There's a very striking connection. And it is that we're supposed to remember these commandments and do them. V'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem. And don't, we often translate it as go wandering after your heart and after your eyes. Go wandering, lo taturu. But that's the same language that I said earlier of scouting, of going out looking, right? So don't go scouting, don't go darting around. Don't get distracted, in other words. Your eyes will distract you. Rashi says very beautifully, Rashi makes this same connection. He says, just like the latur of the scouts. And Rashi says, ha'enayim hem miraglim laguf. The eyes are the spies of the body, right? Because they're always darting around and looking, checking things out and getting distracted. Distraction is one of the themes of our age, right? We know that feeling, but usually it's just the extra distraction, the social media distraction on top of life. Right now, life itself feels a little distracting. There's a lot going. Suddenly I find all of the pressure that I felt and all of the obligations and all of that. I don't know, all of the FOMO. I don't know what to do tonight. I don't know where to go. I'm not sure what to do with myself, right? And this mitzvah, this commandment of tzitzit is meant to center us, to remind us of what's important. Somehow I feel like in a crisis, it's easier to remember what's important. Right? This past year wasn't a good year. There's a lot of loneliness and boredom in this year, but I also had a lot of focus. I had a lot of the landscape was cleared and things got pared down to the basics. And I think a lot of us were able to refigure our priorities, to remember what was most important, what was most valuable, what was most true. And now I'm losing that focus. And I want to keep that focus as I head out now into the land, into the world. I want to hold on to some of that. So whatever revelation you had in the desert, what did you realize this year? What felt deeply true to you this year? What space of quiet and focus and attention and emet truth did you find this year? How am I going to hold on to that? So we need tzitzit, we need reminders. We need what reminders can you put in place in your life to remember the things you learned this year because they were important, and you're hopefully never going to have a year like this again. Right? How do I stay focused? How do I remember? What will be your reminders? And if you can't come up with any off the top of your head, we got, a whole catalog of them in this religion, right? We got 613 of them. This religion is reminders. This whole religion is about staying present in the moment, in our actions, being aware. That's what the mitzvot are. It's an attempt to be present in all of our actions. And that's hard to do because we get distracted because the world is beautiful and wonderful and glorious and stimulating and overwhelming and distracting. So we need things to help us stay focused, right? And we recite this paragraph twice a day. So even if you're not wearing tzitzit, you have that moment of a reminder. And we're gonna recite it right now. It's the third paragraph in the Shema. And in the Shema, we cover our eyes because the eyes are darting around. We cover our eyes and we get focus and we tune in to the deepest truth we know, the oneness of all of existence, echad, right? That's what we're tuning into so that we can ground ourselves in those basic truths, that core, our center, so that we can feel stable and focused and clear, so that we can move forward, so we can go up and say with our ancestors Caleb and Yoshua, Yachol Nochala. We can do this. We can move forward. We can get there. But we have to center ourselves. We have to stay focused if we're going to get there. So let's focus ourselves. Let's bring ourselves to center. On page 39, we're going to turn to the evening prayer.
Shkach.